Hi, it's Paula from On a String, and welcome to my Winter Whites session today, featuring beads from Michelle from Beadworx. So it's super cold here in Melbourne this morning. It's like 2 degrees, and it seems appropriate to be doing something about winter and white, snow sort of related colours. So let's get into it and see how and what Michelle's actually provided for me today in the little package that I have here. So I'm going to flip over to my hopefully new camera setup that you really like and see what actually happens from there. Good morning, Glenda. Welcome. So let's flip over to this view. Fantastic. So you should be able to see me now along with the little screen that I have there and my work surface, which, yeah, a new view. So two cameras. All right, here's my package from Michelle. Winter Whites. This one, I have no idea what's in it, so I'm going to unbox it and let's see what's in here. She's wrapped it beautifully, so there's some gold ribbon on there as well. Good morning, Anita. Okay, so let's undo this package. A little bit of ribbon here. All right, Winter White. Oh, she's got a list as well, so we'll have a look at what's in there too. And Michelle did tell me that she would have some little kits available as well with some of this stuff too. So once I know those details, we'll be able to pop a little link on there and see what's what. Okay, so winter whites. Oh, white and gold. What a gorgeous combo. Okay, we've got some Samos beads, and they're the white AB bead. So they've got that lovely, nice little coating on them as well. So we'll see what actually I think about with those. Good morning, Tori. Some white Samos ABs. Some little 2mm check pearls in white. Or some seedies. So some white seed beads again with that AB, and then some Duracoat galvanized gold. I mean, these are just classic colors to go together, all neutrals, but they look really classy. Some little dagger beads and some of those Puros beads, which are the 2-hole beads there in gold as well. A matte saturated snowflake 18mm cab. I mean, these are just beautiful, these Parpuka cabs. I love working with them, and 18mm is such a great size. And then there's 2 of the chalk white luster Athos 3-hole beads. So you can see there, they're a bead that's actually a little bit domed, and they've just got the 3 holes. So really fun bead to work with as well. Some white gold Kalos beads. Great colours here, Michelle. Some Volos beads with the little round section on the top. Again, another 3-hole bead. A white shimmer 3mm fire polish. Some little drops as well. Some little bicones in gold. Some more 3mm fire polish. So we've got 2 lots of those. Okay, great. Some little flowers in white and lemon. Some pinch beads and some Amos beads. So lots for me to think about and play with. I think I'll start, as always, I do like to start with something sort of central. So let's have a look then at these Athos beads with the 3 holes in them. And they've got a nice, oh, there's little bits of tinsel off the wrapping paper. They've got a really nice shimmer on them. They're called the white chalk luster. So I mean, 2 obviously to me it's, you know, it's an earring straight up, something that with the 3 holes there's plenty of opportunity to do lots of beading around those, and particularly add in things like the kalos on the side, potentially a little bit of gold, even a little flower. So let's get cracking with that. So I'm going to start with some crystal fireline. Crystal obviously works really well with white, and as always I'm actually just going to get about a metre and a half of thread and use my trusty size 10 needle to thread that, and my thread just went on the ground. Okay, pick that up. Yeah, nice size 10 needle to start with, something that's got a nice easy big hole to thread into. So what are other people's plans for the day? So cold. Sitting here nice in my studio with the heater on is lovely, but I have been out already this morning and it is absolutely freezing outside, so I am looking forward to sitting in here in the nice warm and warming up while beading with you all. Okay, so I can already see that these Athos beads will fit really nicely. Maybe a little bit of gold bicone on there too. Just sort of popping out a few things and thinking, you know, what's going to look really nice with this. And the beauty of these with those 3 holes in them, and you can see the 3 holes there, there's lots of anchor points that you can actually start with. So I'm going to go up through the center hole there, and I want to sort of put, you know, like an anchor bead that sits on the side of these. So potentially, you know, that sort of crystal might sit there on the side. So I'll come up through the 3mm bicone and then go back through that central hole there as well, because what I want to do is try and flip that bicone so that it sits on the side, and the little point of the bicone is going to sit in that divot of the hole there, just like that. It'll hold eventually. It's not going to sit there just yet. Maybe if I pull on the tail. Nope, that's not it yet. I want it to sit there so that the holes are going to go either side. So good morning, good morning. Nice to see you here. Nice to see you here, Shelley. Okay, all right, I'm going to go back through here and pop the other one on the opposite side. So you can see now I've got sort of 2 anchor points either side of that Athos bead. So that now enables me to come up through that 3mm and then pop some beads. I think I'll actually put white first and then I'll do some more gold. Actually, I might put a little 2mm pearl first. Let's see what that looks like. So I'll just grab out a couple of them, or one of them just flips right into my glass of water. That'll be right, I'll drink that next. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a pearl on first, and that's so that I've got some graduation of size then going up to that next hole. And I think I'll put 2 gold 11s, no, maybe only 1. Go through the next hole like that. You can see that little nice edge. Now I'm going to repeat that on the other side, so a gold first, then a 2mm. And then another gold into the gold 3mm there. So remember, I've still got my tail here to pull on to help straighten that up. I'm going to repeat that again. So the pearl and then the gold, and then up through that next hole. And all of a sudden now I've got a really nice edge that sits on those 3 holes. So, you know, I've gone through several times on different beads. I'm going to come all the way back up through that top bead there as well. So really nice, simple little edge here. Easy way to see how quickly you can make a pair of earrings with, you know, those lovely big feature beads. Now the trick now is how I'm going to get some beads around that top edge. So I think this is where I want to pop some white in here. So I'll pop out some of those white seed beads, and I think I might add in a few 15s myself. I think some of the Duracoat champagne ones, just so that I've got that, you know, good morning, Penny, that continuing graduated edge up around the bead. So I'll just pop out some 15s as well. So the next thing I'll pick up maybe 3 white that are going to sit on the side there. And then let's go for maybe, I think possibly about 5. And I'm absolutely guessing what the count is here of 5, and then another 3. And let's see if that's enough beads to wrap around the top of that Athos bead there. No, it's not. Okay, so I need a couple more. So the 3 white, I probably need, I think, another 2 15s. So, and it's a bit of a thing with me. I'd rather have an odd number of beads than an even number for this. So rather than put on two 11, you know, make 4 11s. I'd rather do 7 15s. That probably makes no sense, but it just makes me feel better. Good morning, Michelle from New Zealand. Thanks so much for joining me. And Glenda, the name of that 3-hole bead is the Athos 3-hole Parpuka. And they do come in a range of different colours as well. So, okay, you can see there how that really sits nicely under that Athos bead. I think I'll probably have to put something on the back to help it hold in place, but we'll get to that in a minute. So I'm just going to pick up 3 more and then 7 of those 15s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1, 2, 3 of the white again. And again, repeat and go all the way through those beads here. And you can see now I've got that nice little ring all the way around that Athos bead. Really classy sort of look this. Now these end ones are loose. You can see here they move over the top. So I'm going to want to do something to sort of try and hold them in place. So I think what I'll do is come up through that central 15 at the top here. And then do a little strap that goes right down the back to this end on this side here. So maybe just a little strip of 11s. Let's just do some gold 11s. Just the length of that Athos bead. A couple more. How many have I picked up there? 5, 10, 13. I'll take one off. And then I'm going to go through that opposite central 15 on the other side. Let's just see if that does what I think it might do. It will, but I need a couple more beads. So 13 is not enough. I need maybe 15. So again, I've just looped that. It's all a bit sloppy just at the minute, but eventually that will start to tighten up. So again, I'm just going to go through the central 15 bead there. Let's see if that works. Yep, that's going to work. And then I'm going to come back through. I'm going to go all the way back through those 15 beads again, just to sort of tighten that even further. I mean, as I said, it's a bit sloppy just yet, but it will eventually just behave and all those beads stay in place. So what I'm doing is actually sort of creating a backing frame that's going to sit on the back of this piece here, like this. So go all the way through those gold beads again, and then through the opposite direction of that 15 at the very top that I'm coming out of. Now at some point that 15 will also be the anchor point for a loop for a pair of earrings. So it will have a little bit more structure that hops into that as well. So I'm just going to check that fit is okay. It looks to be. So you can see there I've now got still got my nice edge. Still a bit loose. Really pulling that tightly now. What I'm going to do now is go all the way around to one of those side 3mm bicones that I have there. And I'm going to do the same sort of backing framing on that. Let's move that tail out of the way. So again, I'm going to pick up probably maybe 3 size 15s and 11s, and I want to go through the center bead. So I had 15, so that means it's bead number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So go through that 8th bead just there. Oh, my hands are cold. It's freezing down here today. Okay, through there, and then pick up another 3, 1, 2, 3, and go through that opposite 3mm bead again, and then come back through the other side of that. So I'm really just creating this nice little cross frame that sits on the back of this piece, again through that central 8 number bead, up through the 3, and then through the opposite side of that 3mm bicone. So I've now got a little frame that's at the back here, and I will use the top part there to make that little loop. I'm going to get rid of that tail thread shortly. I think I'll have to weave it in. So I'm going to come up the top to the size 15 bead, like that, and just do a little tiny loop that becomes for an earring. So normally, as you know, if you watch me do these, I like about seven beads to make these little loops. It's a good size to hold an earring wire in place. And then just come up again through that little ring a couple of times just to make that nice and secure. And I think I could put a drop on the bottom of this as well. So Michelle's also given me a couple of little drop beads, so let's have a look and see what that looks like also, because that's also going to help hold that bottom little strap in place. So I'm going to weave my way all the way through to the bottom, and with this possibly going through all these beads a couple of times too just helps to make that a little bit stiffer as well. So I've sort of gone through them once and gone quickly, but I think for a bit more security it would be worth going through a couple of times. But that's sort of tightening up the more I go through there as well. Again, I'm going to come out through that central bead like that. And let's see what else there was. Now there was some little drop beads, those ones there. There was some dagger beads too. I'm not sure if I love that, but we'll see what that looks like. So these are a crystal full AB. So you could do little dagger bead. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay. So any sort of drop would work. And I'm just going to pop a couple of 15s either side of that dagger. But any sort of drop, a drop pearl, anything like that would look nice with this sort of classy combo finish. So let's pop a dagger in and see if we like that. And if not, I'll grab out a pearl and try pearl, because gold and pearls look really nice together. I'm going back through that same 15 bead. Just pop that little dagger at the bottom. Actually, that's not too bad. Upside down. Morning, Alex. Okay, now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to go back down through those two size 15s. And then I'm just going to add one more. And the reason I like to add the third one afterwards, I think it just makes for a tighter sort of edge of these little side beads around that dagger. So come up, pick up one and go back through those two there as well. Go through the 15 again. And I'm actually going to come up and go around that side so that so there you go. Nice little dagger on the bottom of that. Come back up through all these beads. Again, just putting a little bit more structure into that side by doing a couple of thread paths through. I've still got my tail thread to deal with there, but you can see now how that little frame is just sitting nicely on the outside. Really simple. I mean, what's that taken me? 16 minutes to make that? Not even. 16 minutes. So I'm trying to squint and see the clock there. So what do you think about that? It's a nice, really super easy earring. You can whip up one of these, just before you're ready to go out and have a pair of earrings to go that are nice and easy and different. So a little drop there. Super simple. I'm just going to finish off that thread there. Grab an earring hook and let's put that on and see what we think about that. So I've just done a little double knot there. I'll grab my thread burner and just take that off. And I am going to weave that tail thread in. Normally I just sort of cut them I don't sort of stress too much about it, but because it's the very start of where I think I probably need a new battery in here. Come on, let's get some scissors instead. Because it's at the very, very start of where that earring is, I think I feel more comfortable just weaving that thread through on that one there. So, what do you think about my new camera setup that I have here as well? Tell me what you think. So you get to see me and my work surface at the same time, which normally it's just seeing my hands, but I thought I'd try something different. So let me know what you think about this new camera setup I have as well. And I have the option now of doing some close-up shots too with another new camera that I have here on the side. So I'm going to show you that and you'll get to see what I mean by the close-up. So there's my, didn't get that tail off very successfully. So I'm going to show you my close-up camera. So when you flick here, look how closely you get to see this now as well. So what do you think about that? Nice, really simple drop earring. The Athos beads, a couple of 11s, some 15s and some pearls. So Michelle has just messaged me with the link for the winter white, so I'll pop that up for you shortly as well, and you'll get to actually see that. So really simple earring, really nice way to actually see things. Okay, so there we go. There's one project done. Let's see what else we've got here to play with. I'm just going to rethread my needle, put away a couple of beads. I will make a second earring, not today, but I will make a second one. But that's a really simple one for people to do. And as I said, you could put any sort of drop on the bottom of that. You can see you could see I've used the dagger, but if you've got a pearl or a crystal drop or something too, you could actually put something like that on it as well. Okay. Let's have a look what else. Now, I didn't use the Kalos beads there. I do love them though, so I think I definitely will have to use them. Whilst they're out, let's have a bit of a play around with them. Now, if you've not seen a Kalos bead before, I'll show you over on the close-up camera what they actually look like. Okay, so a Kalos bead, they're about, I think they're 6 mil maybe, they might be. And they've got 2 holes. So 2 holes there on the bead. You can see the 2 holes. So they're super really fun bead to use. Nice flat bead, but yeah, really fun bead to use. So those ones here, let's put a couple of them in a ring and see what happens. So I'm going to alternate them with the size 11 golds here. And normally in a ring like this, 5, 6, 8 beads is probably what I would normally use. Let's try 8. 7's an odd number. I have done a couple of things with 7 before. 7's an odd and harder number to work with, but 5 works really well. 6 works really well because you can divide it by 3, and 8 obviously because you can divide it by 4 or 2. So there's a lot of maths in beading, which I never thought I would sort of think about too much, but there actually is a lot of maths and counting. Okay, so I've just got 8 of those little Kalos beads in the ring there. Oh, good. I'm glad you like my new camera and setup. I actually bought this camera when I was in China on my holiday. I saw it and I thought, oh, this is what I need. So I'm really happy with this new setup that I've got here now. So nice, simple little ring there. I mean, it just looks like a flower already, but obviously we need to add some more to it. So I've tied them in a ring, and what would actually go really nicely is either that Volos, but I think maybe these are Amos 2-hole beads. Again, the 2-hole beads are just so much fun to work with because of the options you actually have with the different holes. So I'm going to come back up through a top hole there. And the Amos bead, this is another one that's a 2-hole. It's that sort of teardrop shape with the 2 holes. I'm going to go through the bottom hole there and go through the next hole of the Kalos, just like that. Now, that possibly needs a size 15 either side, because you can see the point of the Amos is a little bit too sharp on that rounded kalos. So let's pop that out again and pop a 15. As you know, it's always the way when I'm designing these things, it is on the fly. I have no idea what I'm going to be making or how things are going to work. So you get to see that, warts and all. That looks better already, just with those two 15s either side. So I'm just going to continue that around. So popping those in. And this, I mean, straight away, this looks like a daisy. I can just get that daisy vibe from this, popping those in. And I'll still have this other top hole to be able to add other bits and pieces in as well. And you may have noticed my new beading board that I have here on my desk. I'm trialing this new desk-sized version that Brian and I have been working on. So this will be a new one that will come out soon at the On a String store. This new bigger desk-sized one that we've been working on. And I've also, of course, got my new Traveller that we're going to launch shortly as well, which is a complete set, including a mini bead sorter in there as well for when you're out and about, and a little tray and a really cool lid to stop your beads from moving around in your Traveller bead setup. So they're almost ready to launch, and yeah, really happy with how they have come together. But this new big board is perfect for a desktop situation. So look out for that one coming as well. And of course, you know, Brian, when he makes me the samples, he does them in colours I don't always love. But anyway, I'm testing it, so it's okay. Now, the challenge with some of these 2-hole beads, oh, look, there's a perfect example. Here is one that doesn't have 2 holes. So guess what I have to do? I have to actually start that again. So annoying. Normally, you know, if you're in a class, etc., or with a kit, sometimes you always will get a couple of extras of these 2-hole beads for that very reason. But I have to actually start that again because I can't get a hole. But you can see the concept of how that's going to look. So let's just do that again and pop in that dud, the one that only has 1 hole. That can go in the bin so that I don't get caught up in that situation again. Okay, let's try that again. You can see the mess I'm in already because I've just cut all of that up, but that's okay. All right, we'll try again. So 1, 1, 1, 1. And hopefully the kalos that I'm going to use this time, there is 2 holes in all of them. And it does pay to check that as you're going along. But of course, you know, I didn't do that. So, so size 8s and size 11s in the gold. Really nice, simple little daisy pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more gold. And again, just sort of tie that in a knot. Like that. Nice and firm, and just go back to what I was doing. So again, come back up through one of those top holes of a kalos and pick up a 15 and an Amos bead, 15s, and just repeat that. So it doesn't take long to get back to where I was before. Okay. And automatically I know I'm going to fill something else in these holes here as well. So the 2-hole beads and the way they connect together really easily, I think they're fabulous. I love using. I think my next Facebook Live is actually what's that shape. So we're going to do all about shaped beads. So this is a bit of a trial today. You know, Michelle has included some of them, but definitely we'll do a bit more focus on shaped beads on my next Facebook Live, which I can't remember the date, but it'll be in July sometime. So look at that. That looks really pretty now with these colours, just the white and gold. It's got that sort of lemony colour to it as well, ironically matching what I'm wearing today. Pop that in. Come on. You can see they're a really nice ring shape. Okay, now I want to come up through the top hole of that Amos bead. So to do that, I've sort of got to go through the 15, slip out the other side, and then just move my needle to come out through that top bead, just like that. So there is a little thread that's on the side there, but you won't see that once we start to cover up with different beads. Now let's have a look at what other things I've got here. I've got some little white fire polish. I think they might work really well. And the fire polish will just sit in between those Amos beads really nicely. Again, I'm going to use the theme of gold. So I'll pick up a 15, a fire polish and a 15, and then just go through that next hole there, and let's see how that looks. Now the sizing for that, I think that could work. Yep, I'll do a couple more. I just have to be careful that it doesn't sort of blow out the size too much and push those. No, I think that should be okay. Depending upon the size of the bead that I'm putting in the middle, whether it's the 3mm or a 4mm, sometimes it will need that extra little bead on the side to fill that gap. But what I don't want to do is push these Amos so that they're not, I don't want to push them so that they're distorted. And you can sort of see here what I mean, like, is that still in line? Yeah, it might be a little bit distorted, so I might have to get to the other side just to sort of see if this addition works well. Because if it is a bit distorted, it means that my shaping doesn't look good, and I'll have to have a different combination for filling in that little gap there. But so far, I just want to make sure that the Amos are not out of shape, but they look okay. The last one will be the test one. Okay, so let's put that on the board and have a look at what that looks like. So I'm just going to pull that thread really tautly. What do you think about that? Now, what I think it needs now, because it's floppy, it's very floppy, I need something over the top of those fire polishes. So I'm going to come out through that 15 bead there, and I'm going to pop in, I think, 3 11. So white, gold, and gold, white, and gold. And then I'm going to go through the 15. Let's see if that fits. I don't want it to flare too much. And it is a bit flary. I'm not sure that I'm happy yet, because this is a bit flary, and it really comes back to whether that 15 fire polish and 15 combo works, and I don't think it does. I'm actually going to undo that. So let's just whip those out. So I need a different style of bead in between those Amos so that it doesn't distort it too much. So let's try something different. So maybe it might be just 2 size 11s potentially, or a 4mm. And if I need a 4mm, I'll have to grab one out. And then this is really just all about, checking sizes of things as you go. We've got these little 5mm pinch beads, but I think that's too big as well to go in that gap. I've got the 2mm pearls. That might be better than the 3. So let's try that. 2mm pearl. I'll try gold, 2mm, and a gold. We'll see if that works. So as I said, just sort of testing. Now, one of the other ways that I can trial and test this is if I pop a 15, a fire polish, and a 15 on, is that the same sort of size? So I'm just going to flip over to the close-up camera so I can show you what I'm thinking. So what I'm trying to work out is and this is micro now, so you can see there that 2mm with the 11s is not going to work either, because that's slightly bigger than the fire polish and the 15s. So just being able to test and trial different beads in that gap. So I think maybe what I'll trial is 2 15s and the pearl and see if that works better. Okay, trial that now. So 15 pearl and 15. Really just, you know, working out what the best fit is. Again, I don't want to distort too much, so we'll see how that goes. Now I need some more pearls out, I think. Do I? Yep. And depending upon the number of beads I started with, so I started with 8 on this. If I did 6 or 5, those Amos bead angles are different again. So it really is just a matter of testing and trialing, because the smaller that ring that I'd start with would flare out the Amos beads even further. They'd be more pointed out. So it's just really a trial and error when you're sort of designing stuff to see what count and what fits in these. That's actually feeling better already. It's not flary at all. So it really is a bit of trial and error to work out what's going to work. I think I still want to do the same sort of picot addition over the top of the little pearl section, because I think that helps to create a bit more stiffness in this, what I am going to call a daisy, because I think it just looks a bit like a Marguerite daisy at the moment. What do you think of that as a really nice, another simple earring concept? So let me know your thoughts when doing this. And tell me some of the things you're going to be doing on this very cold, wintry day. Well, it is cold and wintry in Melbourne. It's, as I said, it was about 2 degrees this morning when I went out to the gym. Freezing. Okay, that's definitely better. So I don't have any flaring now that I had before. It actually is better. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. If I cup that, it actually cups. That's cool too. Don't think I want it to cup, but just nice to know that that happens. I'm just going to get rid of that tail thread that's in my way here as well. And I want to do some sort of picot over the top of those pearls. So again, actually I'm going to come out of the Amos bead and let's trial a white, 2 gold and a white, because that's okay if that's a little bit bigger this time, because it will point. Yep, just like that. Perfect. And I already know what I'm going to do next when I come back the next round. So I'm actually just going through the Amos bead each time here now. So a white, 2 gold and a white in the 11s. White, 2 gold and a white. White, 2 gold and a white. Can you guess what I'm going to do when I do the next round? Anyone got any idea what I'm already thinking about for the next round? And this is the thing when you're doing this sort of design, it's what am I going to do after I do this? Do I need to add anything else? Is it finished yet? And what I want to do is actually finish that off. So I'm going to split that pair of golds that I have just there, and I'm just going to pop a 15 right in the middle of that, go all the way through again to that next pair of golds. And what that does, it creates a really nice point there. Really nice point. So again, split that, go all the way right through to that next pair of golds and pop a 15 right in the middle. And it just, as I said, just finishes that really nicely. So this is the Amos beads, the Kalos, some 11s, and all I've added in there is some 15s. Oh, and the little 2 mil pearls as well. So Michelle, as I said, Michelle's got some kits available for this, so I'll pop a link up on there for you shortly when I get a second, but you'll be able to then get, your own winter whites kit, and you've already seen there's 2 pairs of earrings straight up that you can make. And I'm going to move on to that little cabochon in a second because that's sort of calling my name now. Okay, look at that, really nice, pretty little earring design. What I'm going to do now is utilize that size 15 and again create a lovely little loop just to pop that earring wire or stud finish potentially. No, wire. Nice little loop on there as well, and we've got some beautiful negative space with that open central ring, which of course if you wanted to you could pop a rivoli in and do some netting over the top of a rivoli and hold a rivoli in place there as well. So there's lots of options when you create that space with an earring ring like that. But yeah, absolutely could pop a rivoli that just sat there and do some netting up over the top of each of those as well. So really fun, easy one to do. Other options would be to do some even more picoing over the top of those Amos beads as well, but I like how that looks, really lacy sort of feel with that one there as well. I'll pop over to the close-up so you get to see what that looks like close up. So nice, easy with the little picots there, the 2 mils. It's got a lacy sort of feel to it as well. So really nice. Okay, let's put that one aside and let's go to this Papuka 18 mil matte saturated snowflake. There you go. I'm going to show you that one close up as well. So it's actually got like a matte finish to it and some little sparkles, but not glittery, I suppose. So it is definitely like a snowflake, this one. Now, an 18 mil is perfect as a foundation bead for something. And, I've got these lovely Samos beads that will fit with that as well, and the Volos bead. And there's still some more Kalos there too. So what I might do is actually mount that onto some stiff stuff because it's talking to me about being bead embroidered is what I'm getting with this. So I'm just going to grab out some white stiff stuff out of my little stash here. Some white. And one of the things I like to use when I want to get circles is one of these. So, one of these things just, I think from Officeworks or somewhere like that. And what you see on here is it's got the sizes. So it says size, 16, 18, 20. And look at that. My size 18 just fits in that hole perfectly. So really good tool to have to help you size what your rivolis and cabs, etc. are, but also for drawing circles on something that you want to then cut out later on. So if this is an 18 mil, let's cut a 30 mil circle on here. Find a pen. And it just helps me with having a really nice shape and circle. So grab yourself one of these little round template rulers. Really cool tool to have in your beading setup. And I'll just cut out my little circle now. So I've done it at a 30 mil, which gives me, about a 5 mil edge for some bead embroidery technique around the edges of this 18 mil cab. So I'm just cutting that circle out. There we go. And then I'm going to glue that right on the center there. So just pop that straight on. Glue it right in the middle. Now something like this, again, I'll get some white, some crystal fireline. And you need to do a foundation row to do some bead embroidering over that edge. So the foundation row for me, it's the one that you don't really see So I wouldn't always use my best and brightest bead, I suppose, for that. Depends on the look that you want to have, but I'm probably just going to use the 11 ABs on that, the white pearl. It'll blend really nicely as well, and then I'll do some contrasting with the gold. So just thread my needle, and because I'm doing some bead embroidery, I just tie a really simple knot just at the end of that thread, and then just come up, bring my needle all the way from the back through to the front of my piece there, like that, right next to that cab and stiff stuff. So I'll just pick up 2 white size 11s, and then I'm just going to put my needle 2 beads width through the stiff stuff, come back up again, and then go through the 2. Now, one of the tips with this, you always need to do an even number of pickup beads all the way around your cab that you're doing. And, you know, pick up 2, but to make it go a little bit quicker, you can pick up 4 beads. So I will just pick up 4 every time now. And then so I'll go about 4 beads width. That's about 4 beads width. And then come back up through the 5th bead and go all the way around again through there. So you can see how much quicker this actually happens when you're doing this foundation row by picking up 4 instead of 2. So again, pick up 4 beads, about 4 beads width, like that. And these actually are really a really pretty bead with that AB finish on them as well. I mean, I know this is all white and all neutrals, but that little bit of shimmer from the AB coating really looks nice on there as well. So again, the 4 beads width, come back up through the 5th. So just like that. I'll keep doing that. Now, what else will we do on this piece? I've got some flowers, I've got some daggers, I've got some drop beads, I've got the pinch beads. Actually, the pinch beads might make a really nice beaded, a really nice strung rope for something like this. I won't say beaded because that's not my favourite thing to do, but I could do a really nice strung rope with the pinch beads with this. And particularly alternating them with a little gold bead in between each one. I've got a couple of wrap bracelets that I've used for these in the past that look really nice with this sort of thing too. So the pinch beads are a really lovely little bead to use for that type of thing. Nearly finished this. And of course, remember, I've got to have an even number. So when I get to the end, it will be, will I add 2? Will I add 4? And it is better when you're doing this sort of bead embroidery foundation row to stretch over rather than squash in. So to maintain that even number, it's not until I get to the very end will I know, will I have to stretch over to make sure that it stays even. Because if you squash them in, it sort of distorts the foundation row. And I can see here I'm going to just fit 2, I think, in there really nicely. Or is it 4? Maybe it's 4 if I push that around a bit. Yeah, no, it might be 4 actually, now that let's try it. So one of the things to think about when you're trying to fit these in is sometimes these beads, they're not always perfectly uniform. So you might need a skinnier bead to actually pop in there as well. Let's see, yep, look at that. 4 just popped in there really nicely. So bit hard to see the white on white, but I've now got this perfect even number of beads as a base row. So what I want to do now is do my next row of peyote. Oh, I've got those Pyros beads. I think they might work well with this too. So I'm just going to pop out some gold, and I'm going to do the next row in gold. So I'm starting to then build up the sides, and it'll have a nice striped effect with the gold on top of the white. So for peyote stitch, it is just popping one bead on top of another, going through the next bead and then continuing that all the way around. And just sort of gently, you know, making sure that it's sitting on top where I need it to be. Come on, behave. Just pop on there. Now, I also don't want to pull too tightly here because I also don't want to distort that foundation row too much. I really just want that second row to just sit nicely on top of the bead that I'm angling it to sit on top of. So keep going all the way around with this. That one popped in lovely. And this first, or it's actually the second row, this is often the trickiest row to do when you're doing that capturing a cab. And this one will always takes the longest to do. You just got to be careful placing your bead in exactly the right spot. So it does take a little bit of time just to do that. The next row that I do will straighten these up beautifully, but they look a little bit like teeth at the moment, just sort of sitting there, gappy teeth. But it's just a matter of going through every second one. And yeah. Yep, that's right. And when you're doing this sort of peyote capture around a cab as well, the other trick, of course, is either to reduce the number of beads or the size of the beads to make sure that it sits up over the side of the cab. So for me, this one will be to reduce the size of the bead. I'll do one more row of white and then I'll do a row of the gold 15s, and that will start to then reduce that size of bead so that they come up over the edge of that cab. And they look a little bit floppy at the minute, but they will sort themselves. So the other thing you might notice is I'm actually not putting my beadwork down at all. When I teach, I often tell people that the less you put it down and, you know, put it on your mat and walk away, and you make more mistakes or you lose where your count is, but you also can, I feel like it helps your tension if you're just holding things firmly in place all the time. So I really haven't put this piece down whilst I've done this whole row. So when you're beading, just be conscious of how many times you put your beadwork on your mat, or, you know, swap positions in your hand and things like that. And I tend to try not to do that, and I just tend to try and hold it really still all the time. So I'm now going to step up through that very first gold bead that I added. And as I said, this one's, it's not pretty at the minute, but it will get there because now we're going to just tighten that up. So I'm now picking up a white bead and I'm going to go through every gold bead. And as soon as I do that, it starts to come up over the edge of that cab really nicely. These Papuka half dome cabs are beautiful to work with. They've got a really nice back on them, so, you know, you can leave the backing exposed if you wanted to as well, because they're finished really nicely. But they've got, you know, a range of different colours in them too, and there's some sort of stone looking ones, and there's metallic, and there's a whole range of pastels, and yeah, they're a really nice bead. And they come in, I think, 14 mil, 18, 25, 30, so different sizes too. So for some of the projects that I've used, the ones with the face cabs, you could change them and use these plain cabs as well. And yeah, they're really nice, the Papuka cabs. So you can see here I'm just going through every gold, and as I pull that up, it just fits really nicely over the edge there. So beautiful way to just sort of finish that over the edge of my cab. So with the white, and then I'll make a decision about whether do I need a row of 15s or not, but I might not, so we'll just keep going and see whether that needs to happen, because it's actually holding it in place. And I think if I put a row of 15, I actually start to lose too much of the top of the piece, but we'll see we'll see what that looks like when I'm finished it. Okay, nearly at the end there. Now pull that up and look at that lovely finish over the top of that cab. We've got one more to do. One more white. So again, I'm just going to sort of step up through to a white bead there. Now, do I need a row of 15s? I probably do. Let's pop it on the close-up and have a look. Now, the reason I'm sort of dithering about whether I need the 15s or not, that's a really nice capture over that. Like it does fit really nicely and it's going to hold it in place. But I think it probably just needs the 15. It's slightly a little bit gappy just here on one point there. And I think the 15 will just help finish that off even further. So let's pop it back over to the workspace. And I'm just going to pop a 15 there too. So again, I'm going to pick up the gold because I think the gold, I'm now creating that sort of stripe on the side. Yep. So I'm just doing the peyote through the white on top of the previous gold. Just like that. Really nice look. Okay, now once I've got this captured, then it's time to think about what some edging might look like on something like this. And these sort of little round bead embroidery pieces, you know, doing this capture around them, they make beautiful pendants. It could be a really nice brooch as well. You've seen me do brooches a couple of times with this, but I think something like this, as I said, using those pinch beads to create a little strung sort of rope type thing with this would look really nice. Again, and with the gold too, you could potentially put some, you know, get some pearls and make a little pearl rope as well. Oh, that gold, that little 15 gold just finishes that beautifully. And maybe even just sort of thinking about this as a central piece with sort of two other pieces either side of it, you know, picking up again some of those kalos beads. Or anyway, my mind's moving on already to what's next with something like this. And just flick through the Yep, that's lovely. So what do we think about winter whites so far? Obviously, white and gold is the theme, but, you know, I could have actually swapped out all of the gold and done some silver in there as well. White and silver is really cool. Obviously, black and white would work really well as well. And potentially if I was going to bring another colour into this or another you know, technique or texture, it could be that I would bring in a black colour to work with this white and gold as well. So it's really just a matter of keeping it all neutrals or doing a, you know, really strong contrast. So an orange would look really nice too with the white and gold as well. That's a bit summery, you know, not what we're experiencing right at the moment in Melbourne, but orange would be another really good colour in with this, as would be blue. Blue's another good colour that goes with white and gold. It's very sort of naval looking if I put, you know, a dark blue with this as well. So these neutral tones, it's easy to add in lots of other colour options as well. And should I add colour with this? Tell me what you think. Would I add a colour in with this one? If I was going to add a colour, what's the suggestions if I wanted to put a colour in? Maybe I'll get out some colours and we can have a bit of a vote on whether I put another colour in with this as well. Because I do think, you know, the white and gold's lovely, but I could actually put in a little bit of colour in here as well. Oh, come on. It's just tricky getting that last little one in. Take a breath. Hi Sandra, nice to see you here as well. I think you guys are having a bit of a cold snap up there in Brisbane too, aren't you? Probably nowhere near as cold as it is down here, but I did see somebody I know had a fire on in Brisbane last night. Okay, there's the last one of those popped in. So there you go. I'll just show you on close up again why that last row of 15s just helped to finish that. So you can see there I've now got a really nice side edge too as well. Deep purple. I knew somebody had come back with purple. That's probably the least of my favourite colours, but yeah, deep purple would look nice with white and gold too. It's very royal, I suppose, with a purple colour. Let me grab out some colours and let's do a little bit of a vote on different colours. So I'm thinking I'll get out a nice orange. You know, I do love an orange colour. Oh, that one's nice. So I've got that colour. I'll get a blue. And I really, one of my favourite blues to use at the moment is this Deep Mermaid. And let's get a purple. Okay, so here's 3 colours. So I've got this, this is called Light Galvanised Cranberry. So there's one option, which is like a pinky red. Okay. I've got this blue. I love this blue. It's called Duracoat Galvanised Mermaid Blue. And then this is another favourite, Duracoat Galvanised Purple Orchid. That actually does look good, the purple with the white and gold. So maybe we'll put some purple. Let's do some purple. Okay. So I think that, you know, adding that little bit of extra colour in there as well gives me different options, whether I can do some purple rounds or something as well. So, but I'm also going to pop out these Pyros beads. So I've used these before. They're a really nice bead to make some earrings. I'll show you the earrings that I've made with these Pyros beads as well, which are these ones here, and there's another one. So the Pyros beads are something, Michelle introduced these to me last year. I'll show you one close up what they actually look like. So these ones here, I've used 3 different colours of the Pyros bead there to capture one of those little 14mm cabs. And on this one I've used the same, this is exactly the same pattern. I've used all black with the different coloured seed beads. So these ones, you know, these Pyros beads, again, a 2-hole bead, really effective to use as a capture around earrings. So that's my celebration earrings tutorial for those ones. But I think I'll use some of these with the purple over here. So let's pop out some purple beads. Oh, and I've got the little gold bicones too. They might work really well in there as well. I need to remember to keep 2 of those to do my other earring with. So I've got a few of them. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to come back through to the edge of where my work is here as well. So all the way back through to that edge. And I want to do something now to sort of do some bead embroidery capture, you know, around that little edge of the stiff stuff that I have. So I'm going to pick up a Pyros bead, a purple bead, a gold bead, purple, and a Pyros. Let's just see what that looks like as a little combo around that outer edge. Yep. Although maybe I think I might need white, not gold, in that middle. Yep, I don't need gold. I think I need white. Okay, so purple, and let's try fire polish, purple, and then the Puros. So I'm really just picking up different combos just to sort of see. I've got to remember to pick up the right hole of the Puros bead because they've sort of got a little triangular pointed top to them. So it's just a matter of getting it the right way. So see that little piece there? Now I'm going to come back up through and then just go through 2 of those beads there. Now again, the Puros bead is a 2-hole bead. I've got a lovely little bead, then I can capture something else in the top there. So pick up a purple, a fire polish, a purple, and a Puros. Now my other challenge is going to be when I get to the other end of this is hoping that the count works. But again, I don't know. I won't know that until I get to the other side. And again, I'm just going to go back through and through the purple and the Puros like that. See, I'm creating that little nice little edge there, just like that. Okay, so purple, fire polish, purple, and then gold, Puros. And come back through. The other beauty of using the white stiff stuff too is that that colour, you know, it just sort of blends really nicely with the white there as well. What do you think about that as a little combo? Okay, so purple, purple, and Puros. And make sure you check out the different styles and ranges of these 2-hole beads. They're so effective in bead weaving, bead embroidery. Lots of ways to utilise those different shapes, and of course they do work well together as well. You saw that with the Amos bead and the Kalos bead that I used earlier. And I will pop up the link, as I said, that Michelle has for the little mini winter white kits that she's put together as well. So you can make your own variations on this type of thing. So I reckon I'm probably going to fit 2 more in there. Do you think I will? That looks about, if I gauge by eye, I think that's probably about right. Let's hope so. Maybe 3, yeah. Okay, fire polish, purple, fire polish, Puros. Yep, 2 more are going to fit in there just nicely. So purple, fire polish, purple, Puros. Because the last one I just have to add in the 11s and the fire polish because I've got a Puros either side of that. So that gap. Look at the magic. It's just worked out perfectly. I'll go through that Puros bead there and I'm going to come up through the purple. Perfect. Okay, let's have a close-up look at that. Looks all right. It's got some nice little spikes there with the Puros bead. I've still got a bit of edge because there's a top bead there as well, so I'll be able to put something through that top bead over there. Maybe it's time to think about where I add the bicone and some more purple in there as well. But yeah, that's sort of come together really well so far. Oh, fantastic. Michelle's just popped the link up there as well. So if you are interested, the link is there in the comments in those extra little winter white kits. So have a look at those if you can. Okay, now let's think about this. So I've got this lovely little hole here that I need to add something into. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come out of the fire polish, and then I'm going to add a 15 and a purple and go through that next hole just like that. And let's do purple and a 15 and back through the fire polish. And let's see what that looks like. Yep, that's perfect. Okay, so 15 and purple. I'm still going to come back and do something over the top of the fire polish, but I'm just creating a little angle shape now by using that just like that. Okay, so purple and gold. This actually, it's come together really nicely. It's got like a sort of a starburst effect to it. Gold. So as I said, the only thing, you know, other than the purple, and that's been a deliberate colour choice, the only other thing that I've really added into what Michelle provided for me today has been some size 15 seed beads. So you can make lots with these sort of 2-hole bead sets. Lots and lots of things are possible. Yep, it's got a really nice sort of, I think with the purple, oh, that's the wrong way. Oh, look at that. Lucky I just saved that. It gives that real flavour of royalty with the purple and gold together. Oh, purple. So that was just me putting the wrong order on there, but saved it at the last minute. Okay, purple and gold. Gold and purple. Okay. Again, have a look on me close up. What do you think about that? Looks really nice. I'm pretty happy with this so far. So again, literally designing on the fly. No idea what I'm going to be making until I see the beads. And we've got some really good colours and things in this one today, and some great options, Michelle. So thank you. Okay, let's come back to what I'm going to do here. Yeah, I agree, Anita. The purple does add depth. It really is a good combo. Now, one of the things to make this really pointed like a star, if I come out through that purple bead and I pick up that same combo again, purple, gold and purple, I'm going to come back down through the gold there. See how it just makes a really nice point there on the edge. Does it need anything more? I don't know yet. I'll see. I'm going to have to back this at some point as well before I get too carried away. I might just do one more little piece over the top of those fire polished, and then I'm going to do some backing. So I've just picked up three gold in the 15, I'm going to come back up through. Let me just see if that's going to work. If I go through the 15 there, just angling my needle to get in the right spot. Come on. Here we go. Pop the 3 15s, yep, over the edge like that. Yeah. Okay, so purple, 15 purple, and then come back down through the 2 and then pick up 3 15s. Now, as I said, I have to back this, so I'll have to do that shortly before this edge becomes unworkable, which it might actually be already at this point. It actually is. So when I say unworkable, it means that I will struggle to do a neat edge here because these are going to get in the way. So I'm actually going to undo that, and I'm going to come back and do that edge, but I'm going to back this piece first and do the bead embroidery edge because, yeah, just logically thinking of this, I won't be able to do that with those edge pieces being in the way. So let's just pull that out for the minute. Now, I'm already going to think about the backing that I want for this, and I know what colour I want to have. And let me find some in my big scrap leather box here. And I reckon I've got a really nice shiny purple in here somewhere. I've got some gold. I need some purple shiny leather. What's that? Well, there's some purple. No. I probably should tidy that box up a bit. Then I could find things a bit easier. But now remember, I used my lovely little circle before. So I could do that again to cut that circle shape. So that was about a 30 mil. And I just want to get my circle again. So remember, that's twice now I've used my little template ruler thing. So they're very, very handy to have. I'll just cut out a nice circle there of the purple. I'm not, it doesn't matter if it's not exactly the same shape just yet because we will trim it to make sure that it's nice and neat. So I'm sort of cutting it just slightly bigger so that I've got some to trim there as well. So nice piece of purple leather. And I'll get my glue again. Pop some glue on the back of my cab there. You can use a toothpick or, you know, your awl or something like that if you wanted to sort of spread that around. Just stick that on the back. Now you can see here it's slightly bigger than my piece of stiff stuff. So I'm just going to sort of trim that so that it's neat. And I'm just going around and just trimming off that excess so that my edges are flush of the stiff stuff and the backing fabric. And you can use material to do this. You can use leather, use ultra suede. I've actually used cork material before as well. So there's, yeah, lots and lots of options you can use when you wanted to back something like this, as long as you can get a needle through it basically. So what I want to do now is bring my needle out through one of these edges here, just so that I can do that bead embroidery edge. I'm going to come back and do some points off these Pyros sections, and what that will do, that will actually create an edge that sits out over the edge of our bead embroidery. So it will look really fun to have that different edge. But I want to do an edge bead on here first. And I'm actually going to do, I think, just the plain gold size 11s. So I'm coming from the back through to the front, and I'm coming up through both pieces. So through my leather and through my stiff stuff. And then I'm just going to go back through that second bead added. Now, Okay, sorry, let me just go back a step. One of the other ways you can actually sort of create an automatic picot edge doing this, I'll show you that technique. Normally when you do that sort of bead embroidery, you know, modified blanket stitch edging, it's really just picking up 2 beads and then 1 and creating a nice flat edge all the way around your piece. But the other thing you can do is if I pick up 1 and then I pick up a feature bead, so let's try a white and then a gold. So I've actually picked up 3 beads this time. I'm going to come up through the 2 pieces of fabric, and I'm actually just going to come back up through 1 bead. And what that does is that little white bead then starts to poke out. So now I'm just going to pick up 1 white and 1 gold, so 2 beads, come from the back through to the front, and then just pick up the 1 gold. And you can see here I'm automatically creating that little picot edge on the outside of my cab there as well. So it's just a quick way to get your little picot edges done. You can always go through and add them in afterwards if you wanted to as well, but this is a quick way to get that sort of edge stitch done, just like that. So let's keep doing that all the way around. And then what this is doing now is it's actually finishing off the piece, and then the extra decoration that I want to put on the edges of those Pyros beads will actually sit really nicely out over the edge of this picot that we're doing, bead embroidery edge. And I can always add something in between those as well. So there's lots of options when you're flipping and turning these beads around to create these edges. So there's more that can happen outside with these as well. So I'll just keep adding those in. But what I'm trying to do is avoid capturing that little purple bead here on outside my Pyros bead. I don't want to get that caught here, and that's one of the reasons why I did this edge now. If I had have continued on with that, what I was doing just before over the top of the Pyros bead and the fire polished, it would just have been tricky to try and capture this bead embroidery edge every time, and I would have been cursing that it was getting in the way. So it's easier to do this first and then come back and do the decorative stuff with the cabochon over the Pyros. I hope that makes sense. That's sort of my logic when I'm thinking about how this is going to come together. And I've still got some lovely little gold bicones, I think, that need to be utilised in here somehow, given that it's looking like a really sparkly royal piece. So it probably needs, you know, some sort of crystal business in there too. I need some more size 11s. Yeah, ooh, looks good, looks good. And of course this new edge that I'm putting on here, it actually helps with creating that sort of depth of that piece as well. And I've just been really careful that I'm not getting that purple little edge beads, just skipping over them. So it really is just a matter of carefully doing that edge. So white and gold every time. See what I mean about capturing it? So I've just got to push my needle. Now that one's gone through, so I'll have to come back up in here. Just careful not to capture it, that's all. gold. And you could use any other colour with this. You know, we did a little bit of a test and a vote, but white, gold and purple looks beautiful. White, gold and blue would look really nice. White, gold and black. So any other colour as that third contrast in this would look fabulous. So by all means, have a bit of a think and a play around yourself. If you're going to try and use some winter white colours, what would a third colour option be putting this together? And I'm really just sort of, you know, trying to get to that edge, join these two. Need some more white beads out as well. And I've still got lots of other options here that Michelle has provided for me to still play with. There's some drop beads, there's the Samos beads, the pinch beads, as I said, and I think possibly the pinch beads will be part of what I would do the a little rope with this. Okay, nearly there, nearly there. Sorry, this is a bit boring for you to watch, but it's all part of the process. There we go, nearly done. So I've really just sort of saved myself a step by incorporating that white bead in that bead embroidery edge. And given myself a nice little peyote bead there to be able to add something else in afterwards. So that's the plan. It could be that it's a two-hole, a pearl or another gold. Don't know yet what that's going to look like. And now when I get to the very end here, I think I'm going to have to put one more in. Yep. I'll only need to add one bead at the very end, which is the white bead, because I've already got a gold in place there from when I very first started, when I picked up 3. So now I just need to add one white and join that like that. Okay, I'll show you on the close-up what that looks like. So you can see here, there's the edge that I've just done. There's the back of my piece. So it's neat and finished now. There I've got this nice white bead that I can add something else into. I still want to do some edge things around here, around the Pyros beads. But yeah, it looks really nice so far. What do you think about that? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is come up through one of those white beads. That's just there. That's not the one. So come through the back, and I'm just going to come up through the gold first. Like that. And then just through the white bead there. Now, I just want to add something in between each of these, and I just think it's a simple gold bead, the gold 11 in between each one. Yep, that's a nice finish. So this now edge, this will be, you know, beautifully neat finished edge on this piece. I haven't counted, I have no idea the number of beads that I'm using around this edge. I've just sort of gauged by eye where each edge stitch needs to go, so don't know. how many. And if you're doing something like this, you really just got to use your eye and your judgment rather than count specifically. It's not as important to have an even number of beads or anything for what I'm thinking at the moment. I mean, depending upon what you wanted to do, but I haven't sort of concerned myself with having an even number for this. If you're doing some sort of bead count afterwards, or more edging, you may need to have a consideration for the number of beads and think about whether you need an odd or even number, but it hasn't been something I've had to worry about for this. But it really just depends on what else you were going to be doing on this type of a piece, whether you'd need that or not. So you can see here, this flies pretty quickly once you start adding these in, and what it does, it just really firms that edge nicely, stiffens it up, and creates a lovely finish. And then we can go back and do the nice little spikes over the top of the Pyros beads. I mean, this in itself could be just about almost finished, but we've got that opportunity to add more because of the 2-hole bead nature of the Pyros bead. And I think having those nice little edge spikes that sit out over the edge are what I can envision with this. And it will also just create a little bit more depth over the top of those 5 polish beads as well. Okay, nearly at the end here. Okay, there's the back done. At what stage do I decide to make a bail? Ha! Good question, Anita. I don't know yet. I think once I've done this next edge piece, and I'm thinking these 2 spikes as they're going to come out of this, will possibly be a good stage to build a bail off them, is what I'm sort of thinking. Maybe, we'll see. Okay, let's just, and a bail, sometimes a bail doesn't need to be obvious and come off the top of something. You could actually do like a beaded bail that went across the back as well. So it's not the main feature. It really just depends, as part of the design, when would I do it? Yeah, don't know yet, but I'm just bringing my needle to come back through. I want to come out through one of these purple beads here, but I just want to start sort of underneath a little bit. I don't want to go straight through to a purple bead. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so let's bring up out of the purple just there. So there's my purple bead next to the Pyros. And remember, when I popped those fire polish and things in, these aren't stitched down on the fabric either, because I used the Pyros bead. Okay, so let's go back to what I was doing before. I think I'll do 2 purple. Actually, maybe if I do, I'm going to do 4 purple to start with, just like that. Because what I'm going to do is come back and pop a gold right in that point there. And I've come out through the purple, and then I'm going to pick up 4 of the size 15s, and I'm going to go through the purple bead. Partly because it's a little bit tricky to get into the 15 bead there. Okay, 4 purple, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again through the purple. Yep. Okay, so 4 15s. And then I'm going to do 1 more row. So through the gold. Is that right? Oh, gosh. There's a mistake I've made here. I can see this mistake now that I'm looking at it. So what I've got here, see I've got purples either side there. They should actually be gold. Damn. Okay. But I'm going to not panic. I'm going to break those gold beads, and then I'm going to pop another gold bead in there. So can you see the mistake I've made here? I've got gold at the top near the Pyros. I'll show you one close up. So every other point I've got gold next to the Pyros bead. And on this one, I've got purple. So I've obviously missed that as I've added it. And it's way too late to go back and undo where I was. So I'm going to get my awl and I'm going to break that gold bead right there. So just push that through and break it. And I'm just going to break the gold bead here as well. Okay, now it's a little bit loosey-goosey thread there, but I'm now going to go in and cheat and add a gold bead in the right spot. So, yeah, unfortunately, way too late have I noticed that to go back and undo it. So I've just literally cheated, and so I'll just thread through to the right spot where I need to be. And I'm now going to add that gold either side of that Pyros bead. Okay, phew, crisis averted. All right, now where was I up to? Let's go back again. So now that makes more sense. Is that right? Yep, that's right. So now pick up 4 purple and then go through the gold, not the purple. And pick up 4 15s and come up through the gold, just like that. That's right. Yep. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to add a 15 in the middle of that peak just there. So I need some more purple beads. Yeah, just, you know, not so much not paying attention, but it does happen that you put the wrong order of beads in, and it's not until I'm coming back to the next stage that I'd realise that. And an easy fix though, just break the bead that I don't want and stitch to where I need to go and pop the right one in place. Don't know if I like the 4 gold there yet. I don't like those. They can come out. I don't think they work. I think it's too straight. So I am going to go through the 15 because I think that'll make it curve better. So it's literally eyeing it and see whether I like it or not. So I'm going to have to come down through the purple bead that's there. And let's try 3 15s now instead of 4. And come up through the purple and the gold. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, 1 2 3 4. It's slight, and not everybody would notice or think that, but I prefer the rounder over the 5 polish than the straight across. So 3 is rounder. Come up through both beads. Pick up 4, 1 2 3 4. Because I still, will come back and do another little tiny edge, a spike over those Pyros bead ones that we're doing. And I'm going to have to add a new thread on shortly as well. So, but this is now, creating a little bit more dimension because it's sitting out over the edge of my bead embroidery edge there as well. So it's sort of got that layered effect now. That was my little broken bit of bead there. Go through like that. 1 2 3 4. One, 2 3. And even these spikes I could potentially elongate them even further and make them more noticeable. So we'll see how that comes together. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is the little bit that I had at the very start where I'd found that error. So I'm just going to have to move through beads to get to where I need to. Oh gosh, that's let me fix that there first as well. So I think I've got another odd bit there. I'll have to fix that as well, where I also have the gold and purple in the wrong spot. But that's okay. I'll do the same thing again, as in break the bead. So I'm going to come up through that 15 there and the purple. Over the top. Now I want to come up through that center one just there. And I'm going to pop a gold 11 in between. And that is wrong, that one just there. Sorry, that was another one I just had to break and replace with the right bead, which is a 15 needs to go in there. And, you know, to the naked eye, no one else will know that that's, you know, had a broken bead popped in where it was in the wrong spot. Go over there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm nearly back to normal. One, 2, 3, and I think I'll get a new thread now as well. Okay. Oh yeah, that's got some really nice layering and texture to it now. So let's show you on the close-up what that actually looks like. So you can see here, it's got that really nice depth and layering to it because of the edge piece that we've done. And these spikes that I'm now creating. So they're going to have that gold bead just in the point there. And that's where I think potentially a bail would come off, Anita, if I'm thinking about a bail. But let's add some more thread on there first before I get too carried away, because I could even make those spikes even more pronounced as well. So, you know, I've still got those lovely bicones that I'd like to try and include as well. So let's see. So a bit more thread. Got a mess everywhere here. That's okay. That's how the creative space happens. But, you know, 2 pair of earrings and a lovely, 2 earring designs. I haven't finished them. And a really nice cab. I've got those little flowers that could add some dimension to this as well. Might be a bit structured for the randomness of how flowers can appear. But now I'm going to just join this thread. It is fire line, so it's easy to join. So when I join my thread, I just make a nice loop, put the loop over the top of my working thread. Get my scissors, give them a really nice haircut. Get my cigarette lighter and just light the fire line there to melt it in 2 little lumps, and then draw that together. Run my thumb and forefinger over the top of it. And it's now a nice, really strong connection. Okay, so now I'm back to, let's add that size 11 to create that nice spike. Now, I really want to add some bicones in here. So let's trial a white bicone and white from the purple through to the purple. We'll see if that fits in that space. Yep, it does. But I think it needs a 15 there as well. Okay, we'll go back again. So again, it's that whole matter of, like I did with the sort of the rounded daisy earrings before, judging what's going to fit in the gap so that it doesn't distort the overall shape, and you know, still looks how we want it to look. So I think maybe the 15, a white, a bicone, a white, and a 15. So that's 5 beads. We'll see whether that works. Come up through the purples. Just have to pull that nice and taut. Yep. Okay, that works. Okay, so now gold in this peak. Come through the 2 purple. Like that, to make that nice spike. And then again, it's a 15, a white, a bicone, a white, and a 15. Come up through the 2 purple. Yep. And then a gold. So all I'm doing is just creating more layers around that edge. But I think it looks pretty special like that. Okay. So 15, white, bicone, white, and 15. And up through the 2 purple. Just created a, you know, bit more depth and layering by doing this. I mean, I could have done the little white pearl again as well in there somewhere. The little 2mm pearl would work too. But I love the sparkle of that little bicone in there. Just adds that something extra. So who's going to go and do some work with winter whites now? Has anybody gone and organised a kit? So Michelle's got some mini kits of winter white beads there. So if you're keen to play around and create your own sort of starburst pendant, that's what it could be called, couldn't it? Starburst. Celestial. What's a good name for this piece? Because it does look very royal and very star-like, I think. You know, really simple, plain cab, little bit of bead embroidery on there, and it's created a beautiful, sparkly central piece. I've got enough bicones left. Oh gosh, I'll have to get some out I'll have to order some if I haven't got enough, Michelle. I've got, how many do I need? I need 1, 2, 3. Oh gosh, and I've got 3 left. Beauty. I can finish this piece. I'll have to get some more though to finish my other earring. Okay, white, gold, bicone, white and gold. Remember, I'm sort of where I am just now is where I had that wrong bead in the wrong spot. So I've already got my gold in place here. So I'll just skip over that. Come out through the purple, white, gold. Although I've probably got some gold bicones in my stash of beads there, I'd imagine. Like that. Gold. And finish that off. 1, 2, 3. 1, There we go. Oh, that's actually looking really nice now. Let's go on close up and see what you think about this. The gold bicones just add that extra little shimmer on the sides. It's a lovely layered piece now because we've done that backing. You can see here how those little spikes just sit over the edge there as well. So a really nice feature to have those over there. Oh, fantastic. I'm so glad, Glenda, you've gone and got your winter white kits. That's great. You'll add purple, I'm sure, with yours if you're going to do something like this. But it looks really, really nice piece that's come together. I think I could probably still do some more extension on these outer spikes somehow, or even over the top of the bicone. So let's just see what that looks like. And this is the thing, you know, you can continue to just add and add and add and create more depth and more layers with something like this. So I want to try and extend these little purple spikes further. So I'm going to come up to one of the spikes. So I need to go all the way through that section there, and I want to come out next to the gold there as well. So if I want to extend that, I could add in, what have I got here? Something that I want to sort of try and make that even longer. So if I just add on 1, 2, let's repeat the same pattern. So 5 beads, see what that looks like. No, don't like it. Okay. I'll pull that out. Don't like it. Okay. I'm not going to think about that because I think I probably could have extended those at the time and made it 7 beads rather than 5. But just sort of trying to make those spikes slightly longer. But I do like this sort of slight ruffle that it has to it. It's not stiff. It's got a bit of movement as well. And then if I'm thinking about a bail or joining that, it's literally, you know, one of these points here makes a beautiful connection piece for making that into some sort of pendant. Now, the other thing, as I said, I've got these little white shimmer pinch beads here. And alternating these with, you know, a sort of, say, gold and a purple would make a really nice sort of rope type thing. So if I'm just going to thread through one of these, I need to put my needle back on, that would help. It may not even need a bail. It's more the fact that I've got an anchor point that I could make a rope or something off this. So if I come out through that little gold bead just here, and I make let's just do two gold. I'll pick up a pinch bead, a purple, a gold, a purple, and a pinch bead like that. You can see how straight away I can start to make a little beaded string here, strand. And if I just, actually I'm going to put the pearl, not the gold in there. Let's just trial that instead. So let's pop in the 2mm pearl, the purple, and then another pinch bead. Purple, pearl, purple, pinch. All of a sudden you can see what a little strand is going to look like on a piece like that. And I would make that and then, you know, come out of this other point just here. So there's my circle, put a catch at the top, a clasp right at the top, and do 2 little strands like that to make that into a pendant. What do you think? So I've got 2 little earring designs here. I'll just chop that off there. I'm just going to go to have a look at this. Okay, so we've got this lovely little central focal piece, and again you can, you know, build, create, add more, and then I'm going to do some little strand rope for something like that. Really simple way just to make a nice necklace central. And that's something that I'd have sit high on the neck, on your collarbone. Two little earring designs. So this lovely Athos bead with the drop, and I've used the dagger at the bottom of that, created a little loop. And then this sort of lacy daisy look as well. So there's three great designs out of that Winter Whites kit from Michelle. I've still got some flowers to use there. I've got some Volos beads, and I think I didn't use the Samos beads. But other than that, on the drop, other than that, I used every bead that Michelle provided today. So pinch beads, Athos beads, Amos beads, Pyros beads, you know, all the different sorts of beads. Kalos have all been utilised today. Drop beads, so a really great selection being able to utilise all of those with Michelle's things today. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming along for my Design on the Fly Winter Whites today. I hope you enjoyed it. I will go and finish the necklace. As you know, I'll make the other earrings and things in the next day or so. And this will all be available on YouTube in the next couple of days too. So if you've missed part of this, you can go back, rewatch it anytime. Facebook doesn't keep these videos for any more than 30 days. So I'll always make sure that I put them up on YouTube. And see you next time for shapes. What's that shape? So lots of exploration around two-hole shapes. Thanks, everybody. Lovely to see you all, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now. Hey, it's Paula from On a String, and following on from yesterday's Facebook Live session, I thought I'd just come through and show you the finished pieces that I actually made. So the very first piece that I made was this little pair of earrings with the Athos beads, which is a 3-hole bead, just decorated with a really simple strand at the back, at the side of some bicones and some size 11 beads and 2mm pearls, a little tiny dagger drop at the bottom, and then they've got this little cross hatchback piece at the back just to hold everything in place. So super simple, really easy pair. So that's the first design that I completed from yesterday's session. The second pair was a pair of earrings. When I left these, they sort of had a central hole and a bit of negative space, but the more I looked at them, I wanted to actually fill them. So these now have a 10mm Rivoli in the centre of them. And I think they look like a Marguerite Daisy is the look. I'm actually going to write this one up as a tutorial, which will be available for free on the On a String VIPs group. So if you're not a part of that, make sure you join, and you can actually grab a copy of this tutorial, including how I finished that with the Rivoli centre as well. So nice, really sparkly, lightweight pair of earrings. You can see the back there where the Rivoli is captured in there, and that's with the Amos and the Kalos beads. So really nice daisy pair of earrings. And then the third piece was the actual 18mm cab, which was that beautiful matte white piece that I decorated with some purple. So you can see here there's this double layer of bead embroidery here, really nice spiked edge, those little spikes coming over the edge of the piece, creating that sort of layer and texturing. It's got some Pyros beads in there, some little 3mm fire polished, some gold and white beads, and then some little 3mm bicones at the side. And then I just did a really simple strung rope of the white pinch beads, alternating with the purple, gold and white and the 2mm pearls, and just did a really simple button and loop closure. So I had this gorgeous white crystal button in my stash, so I just used that to actually finish it. So that's the starburst style pendant, the little pair of daisy earrings, and the simple pair of Athos drop earrings. So that was the 3 projects from my Facebook Live yesterday. Hope you enjoyed it. And as I said, if you're a member of the On a String VIPs group, grab onto there and get a copy of the tutorial for free. Thanks, everybody.